Я подтверждение сейчас передаю настройку. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Season 6 of the Talking Lead AK KORNER, presented by Pioneer Arms Corp USA.
Am I good? Was this good for me?
Yeah.
It was good for you?
It's good.
It's good for you, Marco?
It's good.
It was good.
Marco, what is black and white and red all over?
I used to know it, but I decided to update my hard drive.
No, it's a zebra with a sunburn.
He's gullible, CJ.
Gullible, like a seagull.
I thought it was going to be a dad joke.
Dad joke.
That was kind of a dad joke, wasn't it?
I don't know.
All right, you guys ready?
Sure.
Ready to do this?
Yep.
All right, lead heads, welcome back to the March edition of the Talking Lead AK Corner, presented by Pioneer Arms Corp USA. So we are on location this episode, lead heads, as we've been building up and telling you. I made the trip, brought my co-pilot with me, Marco Vorobiev, joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, lead heads.
Marco, we spent 9 hours together in a car on the way down here.
Right. What a wonderful trip that's been. But don't forget, it took me like 8 hours to get to you.
Well, I didn't have to do that part of it, so that doesn't count for me.
Selfish.
Selfish.
Hey, Marco, what was the most exciting thing
Shellfish.
that happened to you on the road trip?
I don't want to say anything bad about Marty.
Something about a very large place that you stopped.
Oh, yes.
That is
yes. I
your
discovered
first experience.
all of you listeners from Southeast, I guess, you truly live in the guts country. I discovered a new, maybe a 8th or 9th or whatever it is, that wonder of the world, and it's called Buc-ee's.
The Buc-ee's.
The Buc-ee's.
So I don't think they're nationwide yet, but I think they're making their way pretty much nationwide. We just got our first one in the Nashville area, so
Which means like Michigan will get it last.
yeah, you'll probably have one by next year, I would think.
But it was absolutely amazing. I never seen the 100 pumps in a row, and at every one there's a line to get in.
Michael, have you been to a Buc-ee's? Do you know what a Buc-ee's is?
No.
No.
He's been to the
You're
Buc-ee gas station.
Has he been
The
to the
big
Buc-ee's?
gas station over by Stonewood.
Yeah.
The one with the beaver gas station. It's got a big beaver head.
It's huge.
Can't recall that. But
All right. So anyway, lead heads, this is the AK Corner. We're talking traveling, but also joining us, you heard the voice, is CJ Johnson with Pioneer Arms USA.
Hey guys,
Welcome in, CJ. Welcome back.
appreciate it.
This is going to be a big episode. Everybody's on the edge of their seat. You know, we've got a big announcement that we're going to make this episode. So that's coming.
Kind of getting there.
We're working our way to it. And I didn't silence my phone. My bad. I bet everybody else didn't either, did you?
I did.
And I did, like
And you did
a
too?
consummate professional didn't.
Well, you were using my phone over there,
I
Marco.
was not.
Marco was fielding some questions. So that's coming also. Also joining us, coming back for his third appearance on the Talking Lead AK Corner, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mike from Pioneer Arms Corp, Radom. Welcome back.
thank you.
So, and I'm not being rude by not saying your last name, but again, you have to say it.
Just Michael. It's okay.
Michael Mike.
Mike. Yeah.
Michael Mike. We'll do that. I like that. Michael Mike. So, Michael Mike, welcome back. And
Thank you.
he is not in Poland. He is here in Florida. He's joining us live in person. So we appreciate you making the trip.
Thank you.
And it's a beautiful day today here in Florida, ladies and gentlemen.
It's nice. I mean, it was a nice day at the range yesterday.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
Well, all the Florida guys were in T-shirts, and the up north guys were in jackets. And I mean, both
north
by
guys.
up north guys, you and Marco.
Because we came from up north.
Well, when you listen to the mainstream media, we got the climate change going on. So I did bring my Everest climbing suit.
Yeah, it's really hot out there, isn't it? The global warming.
Oh, yeah. Freaking
It was a little
melting
cold.
down.
We had to wear jackets. But yes, we are back, Leadheads. We appreciate you joining in. And for those that are regulars, you know that before each episode, I post on the social medias asking for your questions. And this episode, we're going to be covering the historic PPS-43. And we're going to give you some history, crucial technical points on the PPS-43 submachine gun. And then we're going to talk about what Pioneer Arms is doing with the PPS-43 currently. So that's what we got in store for you, lead heads. Do you guys want to do the giveaway? Should we do the giveaway first, or should we make them wait? Anticipation.
I don't know. I think we should wait just a little bit.
Wait just a little bit?
Maybe 39 minutes into the cast.
Okay. 39 minutes. Time it, Michael. And then we're gonna announce the winner. So but no, we are giving away today, as all you listeners know, every third episode, we're going to have an awesome giveaway from Pioneer Arms Corp. He surprised us last month. We did one just out of the blue, and that's kind of what led to this episode, the PPS-43. So one of you lucky lead heads got a PPS-43 last episode, and this episode we're giving away. CJ, is it here? Did they bring it in?
We have the
It's not here.
the under photo is
Where's that?
it's getting the talking lead logo lasered on it as we speak.
As we speak.
It's
So
fresh. It's right off the press. It's still shiny. It's so new.
they may have that done before we get done. If they do, we'll hold it up and show it to you. What the majority of you will not get, but only one.
Yeah, only there can only be one.
Only can be one. And it's a 5.56 Pioneer Arms Corp AKM. Talk about the new 5.56 that you guys are putting out. The awesome 5.56 that
It might be done. I have a text here.
is a tank. So, Marco, we were out the range yesterday. We all went out to the range, and we had the 5.56 out there. We have the 7.62 underfolders. We had a 20-inch AKM out there, 7.62, and we had the PPS. We had a full auto PPS-43, and then Marco brought some special guns for us to shoot at the range yesterday. What did you have in tote with you, Marco?
Well, I mean, since this episode is all about the PPS-43, which actually takes its roots in the battlefields of World War II, and obviously was the workhorse of on the battlefield, and instrumental in defeating the Nazi Germany. So I figured we followed the theme of World War II theme, and so I brought two other iconic weapons from World War II wielded by the Soviet Army and then in the Wojsko Polsko. In fact, little known fact, but when the Russians captured Berlin, one of the Polish Wojsko Polsko was also there in Berlin. They went into Berlin to capture the capital of Nazi Germany together with the Red Army. So at that time they carried, because they were supplied by the Soviets, they carried the PPSH-41, the iconic World War II submachine gun, and that you see in all those World War II monuments and statues and stuff. And then the other one was actually a machine gun, also known, commonly referred to here on this side of the pond as the Stalin's record player. So it's a famous DP-27.
DP-27,
light machine gun.
Yeah, and that was my second experience with that gun, because I got to shoot that when I made the trip over to Poland, Michael. When we went to the range that day, they had one of those there. And
maybe Michael can correct me a little bit, but I know that after the war, Poland also manufactured both of these rifles, the PPSH and the DP-27.
Yeah.
So you can actually find some examples here in the United States of a Polish made guns that American gunsmiths put together out of kits and they out there. So
right.
So we brought those. And
so one thing that I because when we were in Poland, we were in the indoor range. They already had it set up. I didn't actually get to lift it and get hands on with it other than just trigger time. Those things are heavy. They are solid.
Well, I mean, the machine guns are heavy. Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
you and CJ will testify to that, like M240 or something, freaking weighs a ton.
Yeah, but this looks like it wouldn't be as solid and heavy as it is. I mean, that thing is
But the word you use,
Solid.
solid, yeah, the receiver is machined out of solid chunk of steel.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason that the older machine guns and stuff are heavier. They didn't have the same metallurgical um, technology that we had and the ability
Right.
to be able to make stuff. So they had to make it. I mean, they couldn't go
To make
through
it beefy and
They had to make it beefy and make it heavy so that they'd
So
be
it
able to
lasts
hold up
longer.
and
Yeah,
be able to
hold up.
last.
definitely.
Because it's not your scroll rifle. I mean, that particular gun right there has probably killed, I don't know, tens of thousands of Germans.
Yeah.
I mean,
the German.
just rounded and round after round after round. So I mean, these guns were used.
Yeah. And it ran great. For how old is that? Like
Well, one of them was 1942 and the other one's 1943.
wow. And they both ran perfect. Not an issue without a hiccup.
Well, I mean, it did have a typical DP-27 hiccup, which in fact
Well, that's not the DP. That's not the DP's issue. That is the new
You're not gonna-
ammo.
the ammo
Okay.
could be, yes.
So you're not going to blame that on me.
I blame everything on you, including the global warming. But yeah, it just ripped the casing, and the toolkit that was provided or issued with the kit
Yeah.
with the machine gun actually had the broken shell extractor. So we extracted in in the matter of maybe 23 seconds, and then
Yeah, it
the gun
wasn't
was
long
ready
at
to
all.
go.
It took him about 23 seconds to get it out of the bag.
Right.
But if CJ was mentioning the modern ammo, and you could see that newly manufactured NPZ like
Right.
Novosibirsk ammo, you could see there's a discoloration in the casing,
Yeah.
and it ripped exactly at that part. Like so, it was a thermal some kind
Yeah,
of
some kind of
treatment
defect.
and stuff, heat treatment,
Defect.
and it broke right there.
And it was like just a perfect kind of
Perfect cut, like
Yeah.
yeah.
it spit out like a weird rimmed 45 APC casing out of that.
Yeah, that was something we found in Iraq too, with a lot of the AKs and stuff they have are not the ones that they were manufacturing there and inside of that Saddam was trying to do because they were junk. But we found out that they have a lot of Chinese ammunition, and it ripped the head stamp off of the Chinese ammunition. So you would find multiple jammed AKs with a casing inside of a casing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Only shot once, then dropped. You know.
Keep talking. Camera went out of focus. Right here.
Your camera, our camera, whose camera?
Probably made in the same factory with Chinese ammunition.
It's probably they heard us and shut it off. They're like, all right,
That I'd say I didn't even consider that.
it's exactly what they know exactly what's going on.
There we go. Back in focus. New equipment. Excuse the technical difficulties. First time using the camera, Michael. Hey, we're learning. So, that kind of gets us into. Also, we shot the full auto PPS-43 yesterday.
But before we get into that,
Yeah.
your startup video that you did for this particular episode that you had out there and stuff,
Yeah.
you were pretty much clean shaven,
It was clean shaven.
and I think we need to.
You want to address that?
I think we need to pose a question out there to the lead heads. Do we really want to see this guy clean shaven? I don't think we do.
Did you not like the clean shave?
I did not.
Michael, clean shave, beard. What do you think? So Michael's clean shaven.
Michael needs to have his mustache back.
You did look pimping with the
He needs to have his mustache back.
I
yeah.
did like the mustache. I can't deny that.
I can't say it applies to older men, but I'm just saying for Marty's sake,
He needs a.
he needs a beard.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, if he shaves, he looks.
The only reason you guys are saying it is because
he would be easily misgendered.
I was like 20 years younger looking than you guys. You were jealous.
You actually look older.
I was
Oh
gonna-
no,
I was
You
gonna
look-
I had
say-
a baby face.
Go back and look at that video that I was looking at before we had the show, the last promo for this one.
You're not the first one to say grow the beard back. So
Yeah, I'm just saying lead heads.
And
I'm
look,
just
hey,
saying lead heads.
it's
I'm just telling your fans your listeners to go ahead and put their 2 cents in. I mean, it was good when
Good vote.
they only had to hear you, but now that they're looking at you, you need it back.
Let's pose the question to lead heads and have them for the next episode write a little, like a 3-sentence essay. What do you think? Marty should have a beard, or he should look like a woman?
And if I do go beard, should I go CJ beard or should I go Marco beard?
Marco beard is not real. I mean, I just can't grow any sideburns.
Is that what it is? So it's by necessity.
So no, because I have a better, I guess better. I'm in better position to use like a headgear for communication devices and things like that.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
My beard is a stubborn beard because I was told to trim it about 4
I
months
don't
ago.
think you've trimmed it at all.
I was told to trim it
like
4
9
months ago,
years.
and then I usually shave every 3 months, but about 4 months ago, I was told that I was looking shabby and I needed to trim it. So I said,
Do you believe that?
challenge accepted. I haven't trimmed it since,
And you probably won't,
and I probably won't.
right?
But that's rebel in you.
You rebel.
The multi-mount is a simple yet flexible platform that allows you to conveniently mount your everyday items wherever you may need them. A rugged 1.5-inch belt locks into the mount, allowing the attachment of any item that uses a clip or belt loop. With the quick release tab, you can easily swap out essential gear as needed. Ideal for mounting comms, tourniquets, lights, firearms, and more. The options are almost limitless. The platform comes with 2 backer options, either 3M adhesive or cook backing, giving you adaptability and endless options on where you can mount your needed items. Access your essential equipment in your preferred configuration. Carry what you need, where you need, with our multi-mount platform, available now.
For your exclusive Talking Lead listener discount, use the code LEADHEAD for 20% off at checkout.
But what I was saying is to get to know our guest a little bit better, for those who don't know and aren't aware, CJ and Marco are both authors, and I have a copy of CJ's book right here, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked about it a little bit on some past episodes.
I'm not really the author of the book. There was
Talk about it.
well, there were stories that
Carnivore.
if you go on Point, the official military history of the war in Iraq, there's a couple pages in there about some of the incidents that took place that they actually pulled out of the battle logs. And then that wound up because it was information that was out there. So Soldier Fortune was able to pull that information out because of the Freedom Information Act. It's
Right.
public. And so they printed some articles in magazines about it. And then Harris Publication had a writer, and they kind of went up and was writing the story and doing a book on it. And then I happened to know the writer that was doing it, James Tarr. He's got Dog Soldiers and some other really good book out now. So he contacted me and said, hey, they're going to print this book. Do you want some of your side of the story in it? So I filled in the little spots that they didn't have from the stuff from Off Point in it. So, and then the book got published, and that's kind of what it is. But,
When's the movie coming out?
the real man of they don't usually do the movies until after you die. And I'm kind of disappointed because I wanted Britney Spears to be able to play my wife, and of course we know she's not the Britney Spears she used to be anymore.
Yeah.
And then can you guess who I thought would be a good guy?
Kevin Spacey?
No, not Kevin Spacey. But close.
I don't know. I don't know these
I
young
was thinking
actresses.
Bruce Willis would be
for you.
from Bruce Willis.
Well, he's not capable anymore.
Well, he's getting closer to me, actually.
Is that what it is?
He's
getting
getting
his faculties.
he's getting a better thing in there. I will say that the movie Fury, and you're going to see some
Brad Pitt?
you're going to see some stuff with Fury on it from Pioneer before long.
Who's that Fury?
Brad Pitt
Okay.
was there, but there is a War Daddy. But there's a scene inside of that movie that my crew and that I went through. We didn't have the same results because our crew survived, but we went through some of the same stuff that he had. And it's the one thing that I still get flashbacks and chills and everything else in there. When it
Speaking
was
of
there.
flashbacks, Marco had a flashback at the range yesterday. He was telling us about.
Marco's also got a really good. He's got a good shooter's book on the AK. Also,
He's got a couple of good books on.
well,
the
he's
AK.
he's got one real good one.
So, and you got you happen to have a copy of it
I do.
right there.
I happen to have a
hold
copy.
it up
I
so
happen
that-
to have a signed copy of it, which Marco will. If Marco, he may sign one for you, but yeah, I happen to have a signed copy of it.
It kind of ruins it. Like I'm picturing 20 years from now or 30 years from now, somebody at the flea market will have this book and at 50 cents, and the guy would start thumbing through it and says, "Oh, somebody doodled in it, so I can offer you 25 cents." And the guy would say, "Just take it for free." My signature ruins books.
Just take it. I'll give you 50 cents. But yeah, so you guys can get both of these on Amazon. Is there a website that you have specifically set? I know Marco doesn't, but you can go to Amazon to get those books. And Marco's working on another book.
I am. I don't know. My publisher went bankrupt. Somebody else bought them. I'm literally not getting my.
You're getting the shaft.
A lot of people ask me, it's like, "Hey, should I write a book and stuff?" And I guarantee you, without any exception, everyone has a story to tell. Everyone, and everyone can write a book. Maybe some people that didn't take. A little bit more storyteller than the others, but anybody can write a book. And so I'm often asked, like, "Hey, should I write a book?" And I say, absolutely, you should write a book, but not as a source of income, because you're not going to get well.
Yeah,
Just for pure self-indulgence.
I made literally pennies. I mean, you guys could go buy this book. It's a good read. And the book's really not about me. It tells my story, but the book actually tells about the young kids that were out there that were bringing me ammunition and stuff. When we were up and fighting tanks, and we had like 15,000 troops coming down top of us, and we were the only vehicle that can engage them. And during that time period, we have these 18, 19-year-old kids, and I'm in a big armored Bradley, and I'm slinging rounds out there, but these kids are coming up in unarmored vehicles, and we got 14-7 rounds and RPGs flying at us, and these kids are coming up and giving us our fuel and ammo and everything else. And when a lot of people talk, the heroes of the battle, and there's a lot of guys that go out there and do stuff, but the real heroes of the battles are the people that are keeping the fighters in the fight.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we don't fight without fuel, we don't fight without ammo, and we don't fight without repaired vehicles. So that when you meet that kid and he's like, "Oh, I was just a light wheel mechanic," or I just drove a fueler. Well, that fueler got us to Baghdad. Without those people, you got a few guys that pull the triggers, but it's that support element that makes, the military win.
Yeah.
Which is
90% of it.
Like perfect, good point brought up. Because everybody's like, "Oh, if you served, you're a veteran and stuff," and everybody thinks that that's the guy somewhere in the trenches, in the dugout, or in a foxhole, or in some kind of strong fortified position with the gun, with machine gun, and all these enemies coming at him, like he's firing and stuff, and blah blah blah, and all that stuff. No, everybody who served in the military knows there's like jobs for people.
Yeah.
And the military is pretty good to select who does what. Just 11 Bravo is, it's a common thing. It's the boots on the ground. Yeah, but like CJ's saying, but if you run out of your freaking ammo, you're no longer a capable person. And that guy who brings it to you, and with the modern advances, technology advances, with all those drones and everything, the supply element would be the first target.
Oh yeah,
that's always first.
So talk about being heroic, and
that's
doing
why they take out bridges and roads, and
we also talk about human lives and stuff, and what you have to do to complete your mission. So it's not necessarily to knock down the enemy fighting position or something like this. It's deliver the victory, deliver the support for the victory. That's as heroic as anything else. So good point, CJ.
Yeah, it's the support elements that go out there and do it. Yeah, there's some people that pull the triggers and do damage as far as infrastructure and personnel to eliminate their army. But we have a huge package that supports us to go through this, and it's the kid that drives that fueler, that's out there that's doing it, and they're kids. They're right at, they can't vote yet. You got kids that came in, they couldn't vote, that were over there doing that. They can't buy a beer legally. Some states they can't even buy a firearm, and they're out there, running the gauntlet. And that's the hero. It's not some guy that he's got 5 Super Bowls. Oh, you've been catered to your entire life. Cool. That's not a hero. That's the people that are out there really doing something.
And you mentioned earlier you had an autographed copy of Marco's book there.
Yeah.
If any of you lead heads are going to be at NRA this year, I don't know if Marco's going to be there. Are you going to NRA this year, Marco?
I will try my hardest not to go.
Not to go, but he's usually at events. Sometimes he's at NRA, but always at SHOT Show and different types of events. Or if you just want him to sign a copy of your book,
they can also send it to you, and you can redirect it to me, and I'll send it back.
Well, we could do that too. But there's ways to do that. And then also, CJ, you going to take copies of yours to NRA? Because we know that Pioneer Arms is going to be at NRA this year.
Pioneer Arms will be there. I'll have copies. I'll have copies out there of the book that I can sign for.
Or bring your copy. If you've got a copy, that's what I was going to say. Bring it, because you never know who you're going to run into at these events.
Book is called Carnivore, right?
Yeah, this is the book Carnivore. I've got it on
Johnson, and it's easily available on Amazon.
Yeah, after the first copy came out with it, this one says one of America's deadliest soldier. The ones that you get now are memoirs.
A memoir.
Memoir of the cavalry soldier. I mean, I mean, there was a lot of destruction and stuff put inside of there, but I like the name change a little bit because it's my story. There's we were a cavalry squadron over there, and there was a squadron worth of stories there, but I could only tell my story because it's the only one I lived.
Yeah.
So it's not a me book. It's a book about the squadron and my platoon.
It's a very good book. Like I said, I've read this book and I highly recommend it. You guys will not be disappointed. Now, I've not read that book of yours, Marco, but I do have your other book, The Evolution
and Survival of
the World's Most Prolific Gun. Yeah, again, the AK-47, which is a great book.
What's that booth number at NRA?
I'm looking up our booth number right now, so I'll get that while we're going through. I should know it, but I don't.
More info on the booth coming. But speaking of great stories to tell, we have one today, and with the help of Michael and CJ and of course Marco, we're going to tell the story of the PPS-43. So I think this would be a great time for us to do that, and then. Hang on, leadheads. We're going to get to the giveaway. The giveaway's coming. So just hold on to your seats.
So our booth is going to be 11531. 11531.
There you go.
So we're going to be in the sort of the back section of the exhibit hall when you come in, but we'll be on the main side, not where the collectors are at or anything else. We'll be over there.
Okay.
And then we got a pretty big booth set up. We have a light airborne assault amphibious vehicle that we have.
That's a mouthful.
That we have a PKM-T that was actually made in one of the buildings that we own now. That was actually made by Circle 11. So we actually have that gun that we were shooting yesterday that Michael had the flashback with. We'll actually have that gun on top of it, and guys will be able to climb in it and get your pictures and stuff made. Up there with the machine gun and stuff.
So we got to do that on the modified Xterra. That was pretty badass. Marco got to drive it.
Yeah, I was the driver and seeing all those freaking dirt fountains and stuff coming off.
Keep an eye on social media, guys, because I'm going to be making posts of the Pioneer Arms Corp crew hard at work testing out your firearms for you.
Not only that,
solid.
but also CJ giving like perfect commands. So that's kind of put me like he had that flashback going. It's like, where's that fucker that pardon my French that I have to take out? But
we might want to have maybe we'll do that after we get done, and maybe have a discussion to see what we can do to get you and set the booth up there, and the guys can come by to the.
Leadheads love seeing us there. So if that's something that we can work out, we definitely can.
I mean, it's huge audience that'll be able to come up. So
yeah, it's going to be in Dallas this year. So I know a lot. It's kind of centrally located, and a lot of the listeners and Leadheads will be coming out for that. So yeah, would love to talk about this. That's something we talk about.
Maybe we could get Dax to come out. Maybe he'd be a better show host than he would be quarterback.
Who's Dax?
The quarterback for Dallas Cowboys.
Dax they still had a team.
Dax Prescott, yeah.
I thought they just canceled their team. So.
No, Dallas has got a good team. They're in rebuilding years.
Yeah, since the past 20 years.
They're probably like in rebuilding decade number 2.
Well, I mean, no, I mean they're seriously rebuilding and getting They're getting back up where that they need to be at. I mean, they have a huge fan base. Probably a massive fan base. Probably a ton of your listeners are all Cowboys
they very
fans.
Well may be. It'd be a great opportunity to come out. You never know what Cowboy's going to show.
One of my friends just got drafted by them is Mozzie Smith.
Oh,
who has your gun?
Mozzie Smith?
Oh, yeah, Mozzie Smith from Michigan.
Okay,
very nice young man. Smart, personable, just outright good person.
All right, I think we stalled long enough. So the giveaway item has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put the camera on you, CJ. And you're going to have to look at yourself and get in frame there, CJ. So, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the Pioneer Arms Corp 5.56 underfolder.
And the unique thing about this is, bam.
Look at that.
Lead head.
The AK Korner fist, we call it.
Now, this is the same type of gun that was just had the torture test put on it. So we're getting this sent out. We did open up the magazine well a little bit more on this one.
Okay.
That was one of the things they wanted to do. We did do that. And for those guys that are going to be shooting, 4,000 or 5,000 rounds in full auto on it, we actually included another firing pin to go with that. So
nice.
So when it heats up and stuff like that, we did that. But this is it, guys, right here.
That's it. That is a one of a kind.
Here you go, Michael. This is Michael's baby right here.
So we're going to switch it to Michael.
And he's the guy behind making sure all of these get in from Poland and everything else. And he is not only the owner of the company, he's the engineer. So
talk about your 5.56 baby there.
The way we designed this gun, and this was done on the request from military users. Basically, that's why the gun withholds so well the torture test. It's based on the outside dimension from regular 7.62.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the barrel OD is the same as on 7.62. The reason for that, because military forces, they want to unify 7.62 and 5.56, have the same attachments. So let's say
keeping it standard, yeah.
Keep it standard, exactly.
Yeah. Very nice.
So we kind of unified the outside dimensions, so they're the same. Thanks to this, the 5.56 got a little bit thicker barrel, which will withhold heat.
Got a little thicker. A little thicker.
It's not a pencil barrel.
And for you listeners, if you're familiar with Clayco, what's his other designation? But Clay Owens, he's been on the show. He's been on the podcast. I'm sure a lot of you listeners follow him on the boob tubes and Instagrams. He did a, I guess, quote, fair torture test.
He did an evaluation of the firearm, and actually he couldn't break it without it being full auto, so he changed it to full auto and put it through the paces
legally
in that.
Legally changed it to full auto, and then they put 3,000-4,000 rounds through. I can't remember exactly what it was.
I think it was 4,000.
It held up. They ran out of ammo. They melted the furniture because it had the
polymer.
The polymer. So have you seen that video?
Yeah,
you saw that video. Yeah. So it's pretty impressive. But just personally myself, I've taken mine out. I've probably got 300-400 rounds through mine, and I'm just I consider myself a casual shooter, and I mean it's perfect. It holds up great. Not formal, just casual.
Business casual shooter.
Yeah. I'm business in the front, party in the back.
Where's your tuxedo T-shirt, man?
So let's do this. So the rules for the giveaway were you had to have gone back to our very first episode, which we featured Michael. And Michael talked about his great-grandfather. His great-grandfather was in the military, and he served in a unit. So you're supposed to give us the unit, and you could give us the nickname also of that unit. And he carried something with him unique that, modern day military don't carry with them. Back in the day, it wasn't unique, other than a firearm. So you had to tell us what that was. And then for a bonus, you had to tell us his name.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had just tons and tons of entries in this. So I've narrowed it down to the ones who got the close to the right answers or the right answers that were in the ballpark. And I am going to pull those up now and just read a couple of those. And then also I ask you to give us some suggestions on what you would like for upcoming episodes of the Talking Lead AK Corner. So we're going to start off, and I'm not going to read all these. I'm going to read a few, and then we're going to pick a winner. So this is Jonathan Gallup. It says, "Hey, Lefty, these ones were challenging." He's talking about the questions. These ones. Michael's great-grandfather was a colonel and fought under Henry Dobrodsky.
Yes, that's correct.
Dobrodsky. Dobrodsky. Nickname Hubal.
Hubal, yeah.
In Hubal's cavalry division in Poland. He escaped in 1940 and formed with the 3rd Carpathian, which you guys did a commemorative rifle on that. They have a whole interesting story on their own. Notwithstanding that, they finally conquered Monte Cassino for the Allies. He also carried the Polish cavalry saber, or the, and how you say this, Zabala?
Szabla.
The Szabla. It's interesting, if true according to Wikipedia, they pulled anti-tank rifles, weapons, and as well as AA guns. And it was a cavalry unit. They were riding horses. So that's why he says that. And then a few topics on the AK Corner. I would love to hear more info about more rare AKs. I know you already have done episodes like that before with the North Korean variant, the Finnish Valmet, the Iraqi Tabuk, and some others. Maybe one about the Khyber Pass made AKs?
There's no such thing.
There you go. So we're not going to do that episode.
I mean, the people making them, they basically take an AKM and put an AKS-74 skeleton side-folding stock on it, which could be made on the knee somewhere in Peshawar by one of those numerous gunsmiths and in the stalls and the dirt floor and stuff. But there was no such a thing as a Khyber Pass AKs. It's the same way the name comes from the same place as Krinkov in reference to AKS-74U gun. So it's the urban legend. Let's put it in that.
There you have it from the expert.
In that box there.
All right, next one's Pierce Taylor. Pierce says the cavalry unit was called Hubal, named after Major Henry with a K. How do you say that?
Henrik.
Just Henrik. Okay, Henrik Dobrodsky. Nickname and carried the Polish, and he did the saber again. I like the way you say it.
Szabla.
I love it. 1934, other than a firearm. Suggested topics, all about the Bakelite. What it is, how it was made, strength versus other materials used for AK furniture, where it was made around the world, the harms of making it now, blah, blah, blah. And that's Pierce Taylor.
So I'm just going to go ahead.
Go ahead while I'm looking for the next
one. Right. Bakelite is called Bakelite everywhere in the world because it comes from America, which was one of the first composites using the fiberglass and the resin. And it was baked, so hence the registered trademark Bakelite. In Soviet Union, although they made a lot of Bakelite items other than military as well, like hard hats and things like that, and a lot of early electrical insulation and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it literally, in Russian, it sounds bakalit, which is bakelite,
Yeah.
right? In Polish, probably
that's
the same way.
Yeah, that's same way. Yeah.
There you go. All right, next one, Jesse Badal. Hey, Lefty, I got some of the answers for you. She got the unit as the 110th Reserve Cavalry Regiment, also known as the Hubel Patriots. Is that right?
Yeah.
Partizans is what she put in there.
Partisans, no.
Now, a lot of you were saying that you couldn't find some of the answers during the episode, but I think we pretty much talked about everything in the episode. But you could also use the internet. I didn't say you couldn't cheat and Google this, and I think some of you did. I had one guy send me a whole dissertation on it. That was nice, but he did miss one aspect. I think he forgot the saber. That yeah, I think he forgot to put that in there, but it was a great effort. It said Michael stated he was a colonel, but I didn't catch his name. He did carry the Shabla sword, which is totally cool. Also, I submitted another pick. So Jesse is one of our female listeners, not former, but female lead heads, and she is a competition shooter, and she specifically does AK competitions. So she's a great listener. So thank you, Jesse. And we've got many, many more here, but we got a lot of show to get to. So let's go ahead and pick the winner. And we've gone through all these already. CJ and I, Marco, Michael, and we have gone through and we have picked a winner. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Pioneer Arms Corp 556, one of a kind,
Is Hawkeye.
is Pierce, ladies and gentlemen. So, Pierce Taylor, you are the winner. You need to email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. We're going to need your FFL info, obviously. And I will forward your info on to CJ. And if he needs anything else, he'll let you know.
And that's because you did the most complete and most accurate answer, and you got the bonus question.
And you got the bonus question.
So that's why.
You did all the things.
Jesse, you were right there at the door knocking on it. You were almost in there, and he just barely bumped you out.
Just barely. So thanks to everybody who participated. We had hundreds of entries, and you guys are awesome. We're gonna do this again. So stay tuned. Next episode, we're going to tell you what we're going to be giving away and how you can enter to win that. So good stuff there. So that got us warmed up to talk about the PPS-43. So who wants to kick us off with and I know Marco likes to get into, and we had the PPS-41, kind of the predecessor to the PPS-43. So Marco, kick us off.
Okay, as always, of course, get comfortable in your chair, get your favorite big gulp drink and big bucket of popcorn, because I'm about to rave for about an hour and a half, probably.
Let's what's that?
Shorten it a little?
Yeah, let's do Cliff Notes.
All right, let's do that. So anyway.
You and I have a 9-hour drive ahead of us.
Let's do a podcast right out of the cab.
Ooh, we could do that. All right.
But anyway, so we are in World War II, right? So on set. And a lot of people think that, Blitzkrieg and the Germans were the most advanced, technologically and technically and so on and so on. And it's sort of like a Potemkin village in a way. You start picking at it and you find out that the Germans were well-equipped and well-disciplined army. However, and they performed really well against the smaller, defenseless sort of countries. But when they finally got into Soviet Union, so just to give you an idea, the Soviet military was going through the rearmament process, and their regular squad schedule was for 10 people. They were all armed with everything but the Mosin gun rifle, meaning there were PPS. There was a half of the guys had SVT-40 semi-automatic rifles, and half had a now iconic PPS-43 submachine gun. That was what was in the schedule. However, it was not it was not in the reality as the war started, and so the production of more expensive items had to be scaled down in favor of cheaper, quicker manufacturing items such as Mosin guns. However, one of the iconic items was the PPS-41 that you see in every picture and every battle scene and
in the movies that they portrayed on the movies,
stuff.
yeah.
And give it, it deserves its dues, so to speak. I mean, I personally think that it was an excellent weapon. However, it wasn't without the faults, right? So, and the one of the, not the reliability per se, but just the handling, the cost of manufacturing. It's kind of portly. It's kind of heavy,
More importantly than the cost of manufacturing during this particular time was the time that it took to manufacture it. Plus,
very valid
plus
point.
there was a variation of materials that had to be put into that firearm. And when you're in a wartime situation and you have to have different materials coming up versus one material to make it, that affects that product greatly, because then your materials are short. You can't make that firearm.
Yeah. Very valid point, because once you put your industry in the wartime rails, so to speak, it takes time for it to kind of build, sort of looking at like a giant flywheel before everything starts to click.
Yeah.
So anyway, and you're in a fight for your life. You need to beat the aggressive and the evil opponent as fast as possible with the resources you have. So, though proven in the battlefield, the PPSH-41 was an excellent weapon. It was still a majority, even if you take the entire time, World War II time that the Soviet Red Army was involved in, the majority of people that carried submachine guns were PPS-H-41.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not to say that if PPS-43 was available in 1940, 1941, that would have been different. So anyway, Soviets recognized the shortfalls and some of the those shortcomings of particular submachine gun, especially from like reconnaissance units, special designated units and stuff that had to maybe go behind enemy lines and things like that. That drum, that 72 round drum, it wasn't like a mountain, for example, assault troops and stuff. That thing sticks out. It's not handy to carry. It's kind of on the portly side. It is a heavy gun, so on and so on.
The ergonomics on it,
right? Ergonomics.
Ideal.
Though when you shoot it and stuff in the range or in the prone position and everything,
shooting it's a dream. But lugging that thing around,
shooting it's a dream as far as how it fires. But it is an awkward position to hold that gun with the drum. To hold that drum, because it's weird.
Yeah,
it's a
for
weird
range shooting
for your hand to be in.
It's a dream for range shooting, but combat, different story.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves with that nonsense of in combat it's different. No, you trained on this gun, so you know how to hold it, you know how to use it. Now if you all of a sudden coming off of something else, then it's a different story. That gun is what won the war in a way. It played a major role in winning the war. However, like I said, so we're addressing it had shortcomings, and one of them was this awkwardness. The other one was it fired 1,000 rounds a minute. It's literally was like, how you refer to MG-42 as Hitler's buzzsaw. This was like I don't want to say Stalin's, let's say Voroshilov's buzzsaw or something like that. So it sounded almost similar to it as far as like the cyclical rate.
Yeah.
And in many old, and it shot like one of my favorite rounds. I like 7.62 by 25. And it's high velocity, small, round that is a pistol round that you can carry a lot of, but it flies at a high speed. It penetrates what you need. The problem was like in Vietnam, for example, right? So to kill one NVA soldier or VC was you had to shoot 60,000 rounds or something like. And if you're not in an all-out struggle for your life type of industrial power, that don't mean much. But when you are struggling and you're trying to pinch pennies to get the war machine going, so to speak, in your defense, that's a big deal if you waste a lot of ammo. So that was another thing that that the Russian high brass was looking, or Soviet high brass was looking at, is to reduce the cyclical rate to like more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes Alexey Sudayev. He's like 29 years old, okay? But he's been already working as a gun designer and some other things. And he comes up with this mostly stamped design of submachine gun. And by the way, answering some of those questions in the past that people asked.
Yeah, for the listener questions.
Yeah. So somebody asked
a lot of those while we go through this.
Submachine guns and stuff.
Yeah.
All of the submachine guns at that time worked in just a blowback, free bolt with firing from an open bolt position. So it was like that technology was kind of accepted for most of the submachine guns of that era.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got something different. You got the roller blocks, you got the turn bolts and stuff, and all that stuff, which is modern. Back then, it was just a free bolt blowback system. Yeah, and so in that regard, the two guns are pretty similar. So so he put that package into completely stamped receiver, the upper and lower receivers. Everything is stamped except like a trunnion, bolt, and a barrel, of course. So it was so simple to manufacture compared to PPS-41 that it was immediately won the acceptance of a brass and even troops in the field. And every reconnaissance unit from going for it, once it was adopted in 1943, almost every reconnaissance unit was immediately rearmed with these things because they were just handy. You got the folding stock that folds, make it a short package. It fires at the manageable rate of fire, 600 rounds a minute. Yeah, more like acceptable. And obviously it has no recoil.
Manageable enough that you could, you got proficient enough with it, you could shoot one round with it.
No, you got, very easy. And like PPSH had the selective fire, so you can go semi-auto.
Yeah, this was just completely.
This is just if you master your gun, you can just do one shot at a time.
Yeah,
and mainly because it was handy. And before this gun was released, a lot of the captured MP40s and MP38s of German submachine guns were actually carried by the reconnaissance and scout troops and special purpose troops that go behind enemy lines because they were just handy and they're easy to carry. And but it immediately was its advantages were immediately evident on the battlefield, and the troops loved this gun.
Yeah.
And right now it's arguably considered to be the best submachine gun of World War II.
That's what you see when you read a lot of the articles about it. And talk about what was going on and kind of immediately kind of they saw the need that they needed to go to something like this. There was a certain battle that was going on. Leningrad.
Oh, no, that's okay. So having all said that, it wasn't per se that it was for the Battle of Leningrad, right? Which it constantly the battle to. So Leningrad, which is now St. Petersburg, was surrounded by Axis forces, which a lot of people love to finish saunas and go eat some herring and stuff like this, and they know that Santa Claus lives in Lapland area of Finland. But also they were staunch allies to the Nazis, so much so that their aircraft in Finnish Air Force carried the swastikas on its tails, and it was dropped just recently in 2010.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So the Finns came in. They were the ones who participated in the blockade of Leningrad. So to tell you what the blockade of Leningrad was, it's almost 1,000 days, and $1.2 million people so perished in that siege. Let me repeat that: 1.2 million, 800,000 of them starving to death. Okay, so the battle to break through the blockade lasted from the day one until they finally broke it in February 1944. So, needless to say, they were all rationed, provisionally they were all rationed and stuff, received a little piece of bread a day. If you were a worker and worked at the factories and stuff, because you needed a little fortified stuff, so you might have a double ration or something, but you didn't have dinner parties, let's put it this way. And so a remarkable thing about PPS-43 is its initial production started in several factories inside Leningrad while under siege. And because, it was simple to manufacture, stamped steel and stuff, and that's what they were producing. They were knocking them out.
And that's the thing. I mean, there's only 2 parts on that aren't
3
metal. There's 3? You got the grip.
Metal, you mean? Oh, not metal.
That aren't metal.
Yeah.
You got the grip and the bolt buffer that aren't metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the rest of it is,
some form of stamped or pressed metal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it was easily, you don't have to be a specific, like a arsenal, like firearms specific arsenal or factory, like let's say Tula arms factory or Izhevsk, whatever machine building plant or anything. You could be just a metal.
Be a bicycle shop.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
Tractors.
Tractor plant. In fact,
That's where they made them.
Yeah, in Putilov plant in Leningrad, so which never manufactured any kind of guns.
Yeah.
So they were able, because the technological process of producing this gun is very easily installed into a basic machine shop.
Right.
So,
well, you're getting into you're talking about the cost.
and the cost, of course.
The cost. I mean, it was more than half the cost of producing the PPSH. It was time-wise, took them half more,
or maybe a third.
Yeah, the time they could crank out.
Hours, I guess.
How many?
Less than 3 hours.
Less than 3 hours to make a gun.
Right.
Think about that.
And they could use less personnel. So
of course, or use a personnel that is not as high qualified.
Yeah. Not as skilled.
Because you had 12-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids turning the freaking barrels and stuff like this because their fathers gone to war and they were fighting in the front lines. So the story of PPS-43 is a remarkable one because it was born from the struggle from the war into the war and was immediately applied in the front lines.
Whiskey River Beef, farmed at table with a twist. Come along with us on a quest towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production and fostering a robust local food source to promote good health. Stock up with premium Tennessee beef, unparalleled in flavor and tenderness. You can be confident that you're receiving beef with no added growth hormones or implants. Always pasture-raised, locally USDA processed, and shipped straight to your home. Whiskey River Beef is grass and whiskey mash fed and finished, and is at least 14 days dry aged to enhance the tenderness and give you the most robust flavor imaginable. Go to whiskeyriverbeef.com today to order. Visit us on Instagram at Whiskey River Life and on Facebook at Whiskey River Beef LLC.
The main thing about this is, and it shows the will of the Soviet people, because these guys they had the Finns and they had the Germans, and these guys were surrounded. They weren't getting any food or anything else, and they did have a limited number of guns that they did have in the city. They did have a limited number of ammunition that they have because they were surrounded. So these guys were innovative. They come up with it, and he come up with this design. It eliminated the wood of the PPS-H. He changed the bolt system inside of it, so it slowed down the rate of fire it was. The mechanism, for anybody that's done the SBR part of this rifle to make the underfolder work, the simplicity of this mechanism that you find on here is one of the most simplest ones that you're going to see anywhere on any firearm. And they did this under wartime conditions and made it work. They built these guns, they got them out to the defenders of the city, and they were able to do this at the very simplest stuff. They took the tractor factory. Am I correct on that, Marco?
Yeah.
They took the tractor factory, and they were actually taking the drive shafts and stuff for the tractors, and they were turning those for the boats. So they went in and did this without, all the raw material that they had. They were taking material and turning material and melting it down to get the raw material to be able to do it. So the stuff that they did was
Hold that up the camera.
Was amazing. And you can't really take anything away from the stuff that they did over there to get these guns to function. And one of the things that we do, I want to hit this on Pioneer. One of the things that we're doing now is we have this. We do a reproduction of this. Once we actually take these guns from semi to full auto, you'll for the people that know the difference, our upper receivers have a ridge in it and stuff. So we have some changes from the original guns done for us to be able to import it into the U.S. rather. And one of the things is this fixed stock. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just cut this and I'll have a working folder. Well, you don't exactly have a working folder because there's a few parts and stuff we don't install. We build a new part. However, if you have, if you've converted your rifle and you have a problem with not the correct parts in there and you need them repaired and you have your tax stamp on it, you could send it back to us. We're an SOT and we'll put the original parts. We'll put those original parts in there for you, so you can have the original parts on your underfolder. So please don't take your 1/2-inch drill bit and drill out a hole bigger and put
JB Weld
and put a bolt in there with JB Weld, because we see stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you have done that, send your gun back and we can repair it and replace those parts inside of there.
But like you said, you guys have kits, and
we have
if
kits.
That's something you want to do your form, fill out your form.
And for the guys that don't want to do that, we're taking the PPS and
show them this.
So we've
awesome.
added a faux presser onto this. And we've went through, and it's a barrel extension. It's pinned and weld underneath. I don't know if you can see the weld there, but it's pinned and weld, and it has the complete working stock and everything else on it. So, and we're doing these in 9mm because we've stopped production on 7.62 by 25 right now. So if you find one, you might want to grab it. I don't know if they're ever going to be in production again, just because of the scarcity of the ammunition. It's hard to basically do the cells.
The 7.62 by 25.
Right, 7.62 by 25. So we're concentrated on the 9mm, and in particular the ones with the faux pressers on them. And these have the working stock, so you can get it. It's just like that. The faux presser makes it into a rifle. So we're taking these, we're bringing them in as pistols, we're doing the conversion on them,
very nice,
and we're making them into rifles.
Very nice. So
I will jump in and address one of those questions again that earlier today. Prior to the show, somebody asked about how did Russians come to make the 7.62 by 25 round? That derived from the Mauser 7.65 ammunition that was widely used by Bolsheviks in their C96 Mauser. That answers that question.
So, Michael, talk about the conversion that you guys did from the 7.62 to the 9mm. What all went into that? What did you have to do to be able to convert that to a 9mm?
First of all, we had to prepare complete technical documentation to build 9x19. So and also to facilitate 9x19 mechanism in 7.62 receiver.
Right.
So with 9x19, of course, we have different ballistic parameters, pressures. So we need to, of course, the barrel chamber is different.
Right.
But in addition to this, we need to extend the weight of the bolt to add the weight to make sure that bolt will close properly. Yep. It's open bolt, so there is more power on 9x19 versus 7.62x25. So we need to edit the weight. That's why you will see that bolt it's longer, has the extension welded in the back. Also, we needed to modify a little bit the recoil mechanism and the magazine.
The magazine. And what did you do to the magazine?
There is like one additional,
because that's another thing about the PPS-43 that it's very well known for. It's awesome magazines. How well the magazines were made originally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the stamping again and the welding and stuff, and they were from the get-go. They were pretty working pretty good and reliable and stuff. However, to address the conversion, you have to realize, and again, it's like it has to do with some of the people might be wondering about the ammunition and what. So the 7.62x25 is a bottle-shaped ammo, so it necks down, whereas a 9mm is just straight wall. So the feeding ramp or feeding plate in the magazine probably had to be modified.
No, we left the feeding plate the same. We just need to machine a little bit the side. So what you said, different shape of the round. So it will work, but we kind of decide to make this additional cut on the magazine to allow the bullet to go smoother.
And I guess the best testament to performance of the gun or workings of it, I guess, and function would be to, like, let's say, put it through the paces at, let's say, at the higher rate of fire, sort of like full auto, for example. And yesterday we had a chance to fire these guns in the 9mm with those modified magazines and the bolt fired in full auto, and it worked flawlessly. So it works good. So whatever the mods they do, and of course that transfers to reliability of semi-automatic commercial pistol configured PPS-43s that's available for sale.
Right.
Before we will carry it too far, let's say that it's worth it to mention that design of the original PPS were done in Leningrad.
Right.
The guy was actually working in Leningrad.
Right. Alexey Sudayev.
Yeah.
He did this at age 29. He died at age 32. And interesting thing, if he didn't die, we wouldn't be talking AK. It wouldn't be
no AK corner.
No AK corner. It would have been AS corner, because he's gone at the very first stage of testing for what came out of it was Kalashnikov rifle. His rifle, his design, AS Automat, was the winner of that. The only one. Everybody else was immediately rejected. And when of course, it wasn't without faults, and they told him to go back and fix those. And he would have done it, of course. But the problem is, he had the building disease and he died in the midst of it. And with him went all his design ideas and so on and so on. And as a matter of fact, the second time they brought their guns for the all these various designer bureaus and stuff, they brought in for the second stage of this competition, which they were supposed to bring the original design they submitted the first time, but improved with all the problems that the brass told them to fix. Kalashnikov submitted a totally different gun, and a lot of I guess the technological solutions and stuff that he employed came from the Sudayev's original design,
Yeah,
including the top cover, the all-encompassing.
It makes you just sit back and just wonder what he could have accomplished. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes.
You can show
So there's a trace of Sudayev DNA
In AK,
in AK.
And what year did you guys, Pioneer Arms, start producing the PPS-43s?
the 7.62, I think it was like 2010.
Okay.
And 9x19 went into the production in 2015 or 14.
Okay. So
Something
about 4 or
around
5
that.
years after
Yeah.
you came up with the nine.
But it took us, some time to master 9x19. We did it in lots of tests, slow motion, movies to see what's going on, and
Yeah.
all of the improvements finally were finished, I guess, around this 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. And the machinery that you're using to produce these, talk about that.
As you know, we produce everything in house.
You do, yeah.
Yeah. So we stamp the parts in house. We cut the parts in house. So everything is done. Of course, the barrels are made in house as well.
Yeah.
So we use some parts from the original PPS, which ATF allowed us.
Right.
But very soon we will run off these parts, so maybe we'll have to substitute them with our own production.
CJ's holding up some parts there. That's the bolt.
Original bolt for 7.62x25, which is also how the original 9mm that we did for a while. And then after going back and Michael doing the insert to make it more reliable, doing the research and running the numbers and stuff, we've added this extension on it. So you can tell the difference. This is the new 9mm bolt. This is the old 9mm bolt, which
quite a
is
bit more mass.
7.62x25. Right. It helps with that, keeps from the open bolt fire and stuff on it, from the blowback for it to be happening. So that's a good design that we did that, and that makes a difference. And then here is your 7.62x25 magazine. And here is your 9mm magazine. Now, we get a lot of calls from people that get this magazine, and they're like, oh, there should be a spacer, or there should be something else different in there.
7.62 magazine?
Right, because they're talking about the 9mm mag. They get the 9mm mag, and they're used to seeing the spacer in the back of it. And what we found is that spacer was put in there because the 7.62x25 round, as Marco said, it's a longer round. It's not more powerful just due to the powder that's in it, but it's a longer casing than the 9mm one. So by using the same mag, there's a difference in the space that's inside of there. So we put a spacer in the back of it originally that we went with that. And we have continually, and Michael has continually worked on this gun to make it more reliable. And one of the inherent facts is when you take a gun that is designed to fire from the open bolt with the fixed firing pin, and you change it to one that has a floating firing pin that is firing from the closed bolt position, it is a beast to get it to operate the way that it's supposed to do. So this has been a project that we've been working on for a long time since we got the gun in. The original PPSs that came in were completely different than that. Most of you that have the older PPSs that were brought in by IO or Tiger Imports or some of the other companies, you have this bolt in there even for your 9mm ones. And then you're having reliability issues. You're having open bolt fires. You're having some issues with it. Nothing dangerous. They're just not firing the way that they should be firing. Right. And the fix was we went through this. And Michael, how many bolts did you guys have to make? It was like 10 or 12 before you got the right one.
Yeah.
I mean, it was adding weight on to this bolt to be
trial and error.
Right.
We were checking this on the slow-mo camera, so we were able to see the full closure of the bolt as well. We did another test to come up with the proper weight. adjustment on the bolt.
So to go back with the magazine, we're using the original magazines, but we didn't put the spacer in there because we found out the spacer is dragging on the back wall. And it's affecting the reliability of the magazines to be able to do it. So we have a lot of issues with magazines that customers are complaining about, and that's because some of the original magazines, or they bought at a flea market or somewhere else, they have that spacer in there for the 9mm, and that's causing an issue to go with it.
It's funny. By the way, a few things. I'm going to just chime in at some of these things.
Chime in.
What CJ was talking about, the dragging of a feeding ramp inside the magazine. That is the reason why some AK magazines and even AR magazines get the ribs in it. So there's no surface on surface robbing. So a lot of the stuff is like basic physics and gun design. By the way, it also remember when we were packing up for this trip, and you even showed me your PPS-43.
Right, yeah.
And we looked at that long bolt, and you said, why did they do that? Because originally it was short and stuff. That's pretty much why. That answers your question.
Yeah, we did it for reliability. And I mean, that's one of the things, especially since that we do have Pioneer USA and we've been working on it. And it's a constant thing. We want to make a better product that's out there. And that's being said, and Marty, you're one of the guys as far as in this media side of the house that have actually been to the factory in Poland. So you know the procedures and stuff that we do. You know that all the parts that we have for these firearms, we actually make because you've been there. So we've
seen it in action, yeah.
So we actually do that stuff. So I know that Clay was talking the other day about our barrel may have been a better barrel because we put somebody else's barrel on it. No, we make that barrel.
Well, it wasn't Clay. It was
somebody was
one
on
of his
there,
trolls.
right? Somebody that was well. No, I think they were mentioned when he was talking at the end of the video. They weren't for sure whose barrel that we were using in the video, but the barrel we were using was our barrel. And as Michael said, it's the same barrel we do for our military customers. And one of the things that makes us different on everything that we do is we're a defense contractor. We make military firearms. And we have that share of the military firearms that we roll over and we sell to our customer base. And of course, they have to be U.S. compliant to bring in, and they have to, we can't have the select fire and stuff on them. But we don't change the barrel because Bob's buying it instead of Big Army. Yeah. We leave the exact same.
Well, that was I think the whole
same products that are in there.
That troll that got on there is like, oh, well, they cherry picked this for you. And I mean, just to be clear, CJ and Pioneer Arms had no idea Clay was doing this. Clay bought that rifle himself from a local.
Yeah, we had listeners send it to us and was like, hey,
they saw the media and videos just same time you did. So.
Yeah, so we did that, but we do everything. We do everything in-house. So, I mean, we have our own spring machine, so we do absolutely everything there. Even our compliance parts, we make those ourselves. We don't outsource anything.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways that we're able to get the quality control that we have now, that we don't have the issues. And a lot of people are frankly surprised saying, well, I didn't think that it could do that. We spend a large amount of time making sure that we have and it's not a cheap gun. It's affordable gun because we think that everybody should be able to afford a firearm. And if somebody's out there, especially in the way the economy is, busting their butt to make $1, I want them to be able to, to spend their dollar on something that they can afford and not have to have something that they throw back in the closet. Now, we're like any other manufacturer facility in the world, and sometimes something gets through the cracks. There's an issue. We find that 90% of the issues and stuff are induced by ammo or induced by inexperienced shooters. But
magazines sometimes.
I would like to say we have the best customer service. We haven't always had the best customer service when we started out, but our customer service now is really par none, and I stay on that. As a matter of fact, if you've emailed our customer service and they haven't got back with you, you go to our Facebook page and you send a message on our Facebook page, and I will answer it.
There you go.
I'm on that checking up to go up on it. So I talk to I talked to a lot of customers to make sure that we've had a personnel change as far as our customer service. We had somebody that was kind of lacking in that position, and he's no longer with us. And our customer service it's well.
You do. We were here yesterday or the day before yesterday, and a call came in, and I'm not going to give details on it, but I mean, you guys were on it just like that. You handled it immediately. And
well, it helps that we don't get that.
And it was something that you didn't even have to do,
right?
It was something that you didn't even have to. Wasn't your responsibility. It was somebody completely different. They got the gun from, but you guys were on it.
We had an individual send in, and the reason we started it, we didn't do these kits to make the underfolders and stuff because there's no need because we make pistols. But we had an individual send in his PPS. And he was having a problem with it as far as the pin and stuff had froze inside because he shot some surplus corrosive ammo, and the pin was pretty much stuck in the boat. But he had SBR'd it, and we were an SOT, and he did illegal on a Form 4. So he sent it back to us, and then I went to my machinist and I said, "Hey, this stuff in here is kind of JB welded." So we went in and rebuilt the back part of the gun for him at no cost and did it the correct way. So he had an underfolder that was the way it was supposed to be done. And then, we took his boat apart, cleaned it, and sent the guy's rifle back out to him. And, we didn't charge him for the other parts and stuff because we want our customers to be able to have a gun and have the best product they can. And a lot of people can't afford to go out there and pay a ton of money. Now, we are as good, and I will say this for the other companies that are out there, we are as good, has been proven, as your $2,000 rifles. We are as good, and we have a better warranty, and we are as good.
You can feel more comfortable with their customer service now.
We're better than any gun in our price range.
Let's do this. Let's go to some listener questions here, and then we'll get into there was another question I want to talk about. Maybe I'll do that first. So there was a version of the PPS-43 that came out that had a wood stock. Am I wrong?
No. Well, yes. It actually came from Poland, and it was after the war. So after the war, and it came from Poland, not in the Soviet Union.
Sure.
But it was a wooden stock, kind of awkward looking.
Yeah, I saw it.
And a pistol grip and stuff, but not. I don't think it lasted.
Was it like a mass?
It wasn't a mass thing.
I got you. All right.
Now I've got with my machinist over there, and we've got some PPS H kits, and we played around with putting the stocks onto the PPS-43 and taking away the folder and doing that. And we just decided it's easier to make the folder work.
or do the extension, pin and weld that on there.
We pin and weld the extension, but actually the back of the PPS, the way that it's designed.
Show that.
The way that we just didn't cut up a gun for this show, guys. So we've had this, and this is PPS that was crushed during shipping. So we went ahead and cut it so we could take it off of our books, but we still use it as a sample. But all your folding mechanism and everything else, and then your steel recoil brace and everything comes back here, plus the operation and opening up the back of the PPS, which you guys know this. So when you go to put a wooden stock in, you have to eliminate all that. So you have to come up with a new mechanism to be able to open the rifle up. So it can be done, but it was not going to be cost effective to be able to do that, to change the stock and put a wooden stock on this to make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, the PPSs, which we could put out now, are fairly inexpensive, and the mod was going to cost.
Folding stocks
it's nice. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, but it's nice cool. as far as putting the gun there and everything else. And so we chose not to continue the operation of trying to do a wooden stock on it, and we are doing some innovative stuff. We are. What is it? What's the shortest pistol out there? The micro.
Oh, the something
Draco.
micro
The
Draco,
the micro Draco, which is 7.5-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got one that'll be out for sale within weeks with a 7-inch barrel.
What?
Yeah. And we're calling it the Hell Puppy.
The help puppy.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so it's going to be available in 7.62, and then we may look at doing 5.56 later on.
Looks like AK, right?
Yeah, it does look like an AK.
That's the Sudayev's gun.
Oh, okay. Let's go to some listener questions now. Corey Brown. Is it sacrilege to convert it to 9mm? So we just talked about that, so it's not sacrilege. There was another one that they were asking about kits to be able to convert. It says, as much as I like the round it's chambered for, how difficult would it be to build a kit in 9mm? I think they're talking about doing it themselves, kind of deal.
Well, I mean, if they can, we don't sell the barrels. Okay, so we have parts of these guns, but we're not going to sell the barrels because the barrel importation is problematic, to say the least, to be able to do it, and we don't build them here. There are a couple companies that do barrels, where you could get the barrels out there that are in the U.S. for you to be able to do that. We don't do that. We don't sell the barrels. We will have, as we have our new website that'll be launched before NRA, and we have 90% of the parts on the PPSs on that. So right now you can go ahead and get the trigger assemblies from us. But before long, you'll be able to get the underfolder, and you'll also be able to get the underfolder kit. So if you have one now that you've SBR'd and you've kind of chunked it up, or you have one that you've turned into a machine gun and you want that stuff in there, we have the kit. It'll be on the website that you'll be able to order it, where you can do the actual conversion with the original parts. They won't be original. We're manufacturing them, but they will be same part to one-to-one match for what's on it. So the question is to convert it to 9mm. I mean, if you're really good at what you do, it can be done, but we're not going to sell you the barrel to be able to do it because it's problematic for us to be able to do the importation with that. And there's companies in the U.S. that already have the barrels. And to answer that question, no, we're not going to make a 16-inch 9mm barrel for this. We'll do a full presser for it, but we're not going to do that 16-inch barrel.
Let's see. That's what the show is about. Why was the PPS-43 created, and what was to be its purpose?
Well, that's the same thing with the PPS. Everybody looks at the Russians did it for innovations. It's the exact same that the U.S. military did. We made the Thompson. The Thompson is an amazing rifle. It is not simplistic. It is expensive, and so the U.S. Army came up with the grease gun. The grease gun costs pennies compared to what
all stamped.
It's all stamped, and it's a 45. Thompson was designed as an airborne gun, and they found out that the grease gun was not only for paratroopers and reconnaissance, but could also be for armored vehicle personnel because it was smaller and could go inside it. Very simplistic. Stamped, the same thing that the Russians did, and they did it for cost and for speed to be able to build stuff.
Very good point. Very good point. And sort of like the same story of PPS-43 versus PPS. Right. And the M3 grease gun, so it uses the same blowback, free floating, the bolt, and it's got the wire collapsible stuff instead of folding. So it's exactly kind of the same story, just to run in parallel.
Right.
Yeah.
I love its cocking device.
Yeah,
you
for
put the finger, put it in instead
stick your finger in a hole and pull it back. Yeah,
instead of protruding handle.
Yeah, and then the safety is the dust cover.
Yeah,
I mean it's got a notch in it that clips into your finger hole, and when you open it up, it's ready to rock. When you close the dust cover, it's on safe.
Yeah,
I mean it's a fail-safe safe that it blocks the boat. It can't go forward with the dust cover closed.
Next question.
And also, it was born out of war.
Out of war necessity, right? Yeah.
I was looking for this picture.
Okay.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
It was born in Leningrad and finished the battle on World War II Brandenburg Gate. Russian soldier hanging the flag with the PPS on his shoulder.
I saw that. I read an article, and they had that in there. Is that the one from Guns?
I don't know. I came across,
came across
a
this?
long time ago, and I have this
Pull
picture.
back a little bit.
So
Right
which
there.
underlines the thing. So that guy was the reconnaissance, the scout dude to get in, and that's what they carried. They carried because they were compact, more wieldable, I guess.
Yeah.
Guns, and they loved it. The troops loved them.
Has the PPS-43 inspired any other subguns, or has features from it been utilized in subsequent platforms? So I guess
I would say that it is that the PPS-43 is kind of the father of all subguns, because there's different stuff that they have from those in it. I mean, you even go to the
I think you're absolutely right, because even looking at PPSH 41, which is not the first subgun, but it looks like a crossbreed between subgun and a rifle with full stock.
right.
Suomis, they had them. The Finns had them. The Berettas had them. Italians, and also the Germans. The first MP, what is that? MP 18.
Yeah, the MP-18. But look at the magazine design, the way that they had the magazine itself. I mean, that was innovation right there, because up to that point, magazines were straight. They didn't have curved magazines. I mean, the PPS was the first one where they actually started curving the magazine to be able to get the number of rounds in it to be able to, to fire. I mean, other magazines were straight, and they counted on the base plate to be able to keep the rounds in line, which is what? It's a drag problematic issue.
Yeah, like I was mentioning before, majority of gun malfunctions, which is mostly has to do with feeding, is attributed to magazines.
I mean, look at the modern day Uzi, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think how good the Sterling would have been if it had a little bit of a curve on its magazine versus how it was set up on it.
Yes.
I mean,
Sterling and Stem, the two guns. Yeah.
Next question. During development, was there any interest in drum mags, or was it just too problematic, bulky, and expensive to the finished product?
We commented on it. Actually, when the PPS-43 came out, and so the troops immediately took to it because it was just a better design layout, easy to handle. Then the engineers went back and came up with the stick magazine for PPSH 41, which was kind of complicated, not as simple and straightforward like PPS mag, but it had to have that neck, sort of fitting neck that would go into the magazine well, I guess, for a slot on PPSH 41. So to get rid of the mag, and the biggest thing is yesterday CJ was loading the 72 rounds in that drum magazine, and that wasn't just clicking them in, right?
it's not clicking it in to go in there. And one of the other things that they found out
Takes a little dexterity.
Not really. It just takes
Better than mine.
One of the other things that they found out with it is you can, as far as the transportation, as far as the magazines and stuff like that, it was much easier, because if you look at the drum pouch, I mean, the drum pouch is that big, and you've got to find places to be able to carry it.
Yeah.
And then you carry 2 stick mags, and then you've got the same number of rounds basically that you have for that. It was easier for the soldiers to be able to load. And then you didn't have to worry about the number of ammunition, as far as with the drum mount, you had no idea how much ammunition in it. You only guessed at it, and you actually had to pull it apart, and loading it itself took time compared to loading the stick mags.
Yeah.
Whereas with the PPS 43 and the mags on it, you could always tell the difference in it. As far as the magazine goes, you could always tell as far as the weight and looking down inside of it.
And,
Yeah, that's right.
the holes.
Yeah, the holes.
It's got that little fin on the back.
And the holes to see.
That
See the
gives you a better
capacity,
idea.
yeah.
Better idea where your rounds are at.
Also talk about the receptacle for a magazine, how easy to insert and stuff, and as opposed to
Right, as opposed to that one. And it takes a while to load that 72 round mag. And then when I was doing that yesterday, was loading it at the range, and gravity's your friend or he's your enemy.
Yeah.
Because
Works both ways, right?
You're loading it up inside of there, and all of a sudden a round falls off to the side, and then there you go. You've got to start over or push it back up in it. So it wasn't that easy to load compared to the stick mags to go with it. Now, I know there's pluses and minuses. I mean, you have your spring memory and stuff inside of your stick mags that are affect that way, and you still have your drag plate. And I don't think that stick mags are anyway as efficient as a drum mag, just because they're designed and the force that goes with them. But the simplicity,
sure,
of being able to get the rounds in there and get them out, and it all goes down. And somebody that's been to combat, and you guys that have been to combat, and Marco, you've been to combat. The simpler stuff is for you to be able to identify and to use quickly and to insert in that gun and replace it for your reload. That makes the difference in a military firearm. That is the bottom line out of it. That's like the Stalin pizza wheel. Okay.
Pizza wheel.
The ability to interchange within your squad, interchange like somebody, I need a mag, and you toss him a mag, and like he, without even thinking, inserts it in his gun, which early guns were susceptible to it, including PPS-41, that sometimes the mags that there were, the drums, the two drums it was issued with, had the serial number of the gun engraved on it. So this way there would be no interchangeability. Another thing to mention about magazines on PPS-43 is that how easy it is to make them compared to the freaking drum, right?
Yeah, I've never made one, but it looks a lot simpler than that drum. I had to get a class yesterday because I've never loaded that drum on an H before.
Looks like you get 2 of the PPS mags out of the material it takes to make one of those drums, too. It's like a lot of material.
But, don't forget there's that winding mechanism on the side.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, next question. T. Hayden. Now, I apologize to all you other people. I didn't read your names, but you know who you were. Been gone for a bit and finally caught up with the latest episode. A little bummed I missed a shot to win that PPS-43. Well, we wasn't announced. It was a surprise, so that's why you got to listen. You can't take a break from the show. You're going to miss out. My question is, was the PPS-42 used as a test bed for what would become the PPS-43 during the defense of Leningrad? What seems to be a great subgun that got its start literally forged in the heat of battle. Can't wait to listen to this episode and to hear everyone's thoughts. Hope everyone is well, and thanks for the great episode or podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. PPS-42 was the first that Sudayev submitted for testing and stuff. And of course, when you submit your first prototype, and the guys right here who build guns, and they know they come up with prototype, there will always be a little hiccups, a little, here's something that we should have done differently and stuff. And so it was sent back to Sudayev, says, fix these things. And he comes back with the PPS-43, which was then adopted and then was issued. And talking to, referring back to what CJ was talking about earlier about the materials of, trying to supply the city under siege, which they used a lot of the lake in the summertime, and then in the winter they had that road of life that they laid over the ice of Ladoga Lake, trying to keep the people alive with food and stuff. Never mind the material that they have to supply the city with, as far as like the steel and so on and so on. And in the city under siege, they were able to establish the production of these guns that immediately went to the front line and stuff, and armed soldiers. So anyway, was PPS-42.
42, yeah.
And then when sent back, come back, new and improved PPS-43. So
very good. I think that's a good question to end our listener questions on. So which there's still a lot more. I appreciate everybody, especially the short time that I gave you to post your questions there. You got a lot of questions. I think we got like over 30 or something here. So very good. So let's give some stuff away, and then we'll do our final thoughts on the episode. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. So for the Seal One and done, you guys go to seal1.com, use code LEADHEAD, get 25% off any of your products from Seal One. The winner of that is going to be, I'm just going to go random through here. MEINTEIL 75. I don't even know how to start to say that, but you are the winner. Menintil? I'll try it. 75. Email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. You won the Seal One clean kit.
By the way, in preparation for this episode, when Marty said we spent the day at the range yesterday, and the World War II guns that we had there, which is the PPS-41
back there.
and DP-27, both were cleaned using Seal One
thoroughly
product.
Clean with Seal One and done.
I think it would be,
and they ran perfect.
I think what would be a great giveaway for probably the next episode is, I think we do questions and stuff on there about people, how that they clean their firearms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think whoever we choose as that had the best technique of doing it should send their firearm to Marty and have Marty clean it.
I love watching Red Dawn and cleaning my firearms.
Yeah, so there you go.
There you go.
I think that would be, especially if they live close to you.
Yeah. And I'm in Port Orange, Florida. My address is.
If you are in Port Orange, Florida, then contact me.
Our next giveaway is for Mission First Tactical, and I think we'll do let's do a dump tray. I haven't done a dump tray in a while with the new Season 6 Pioneer Arms Corp and Talking Lead AK KORNER logo. See our beautiful Mark. You got a shirt back there, Mike.
Michael, your shirt's on the back of your
Hold your shirt up there. Show our lead heads these awesome shirts with the new logo that we have on there.
Very nice.
We got you a medium so you can work.
Hold it with this camera over here. Up here. Yeah. There we go. So we'll have that logo put on a Mission First Tactical dump tray for this winter. And it is going to be Anthony Got Instagram. Anthony Got Instagram. You're the winner of the Mission First Tactical dump tray. I don't think we read his question. What did the Germans make of the PPS-43? Did they adopt it in the field or when their own ammo was low, for example? Curious to know the German opinion. I think we have any Germans here. Soviet tanks from World War II.
You might have to dig them up to ask the question. By that time, you got to realize, Germany was already suffering from a lack of resources.
Yeah, they were freezing. They were freezing and starving. So yeah, they loved the PPS, but they picked it up with ammo. Anything they could find, they loved that. But yeah, they were at that point in time. They were starving.
You got a Scooby. You got one on your hat there. So hold this up and hold that up. So for our next giveaway, we're going to give away some patches from Pioneer Arms Corp here. And let me switch it over there. So we've got a Grom patch. Talk about the inspiration for your Grom patch.
Okay, well, the Grom patch itself is Polish Special Forces, and this is...
You're out of camera.
I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we have the Grom. The Grom Special Forces that we went with, and and these guns here, a lot of people are saying, they're made here or there, but we are made in the original Circle 11 factory, which was a original state factory for the Soviet military that made guns for Poland and for the Soviets. So we did this, and I wanted to come up with a special version dedicated to the Polish Special Forces. And so we took our Hell Pups and then we replaced the flat black on the back of it and made a stock tang on it so we could put an actual stock on it. And then we put a faux presser on the end of it to make it give it that tactical look. By the way, we're going to that's our next giveaway is going to be one of the Grom rifles.
Oh, you're just going to go ahead and tell? Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and do that.
Not next episode, but next.
Well, it'll be our next
giveaway
episode. Next giveaway that Marty talked about when we started the season. We're going to do a Grom rifle
June.
for that, and it's going to be a Grom rifle that you cannot buy because I'm gonna customize it. So
again, another one of one.
It'll be one of one for that one. So we come up with the Grom patch and stuff with that. It's kind of got the special forces in to go with it, and it's their special operations. And by the way, for you guys that have Instagram and Facebook, there's a couple armor units in Poland and Grom units that have a Facebook page, and they have some social media stuff. And it's in Polish. It's not in English, but you guys should look those up. And you should go and watch some of the training and other stuff that they do. It's really interesting, really professional, some of the stuff that they do.
Very cool.
And the other patch that Marty's talking about is our Great Dane that we have, and it glows in the dark as well as the Grom stuff. So we have these made by Tough Products, and real good,
very nice PVC
stuff,
PVC type patches. So,
and we don't do very many. We give away very few Grom patches that the patches were designed for the Grom rifle, and you can only get the Grom patch if you buy the rifle or if we give you one.
If we give
listeners,
you one, being a listener,
very few do we give out. We also have patches for our PM-63 that the only way you can get the PM-63 patch is to buy that. And then, of course, the Scooby patches, not Scooby, they can't be Scooby. They're Great Danes.
They're Great Danes.
They're Great Danes.
Brown Great Danes.
Ruh-roh. Our Great Dane patches. We do that with swag and stuff like that, and you guys can go online and request that. We have some stickers and stuff that we also
have. You got
another
one of that patch you said the other? Did you say the
PM-63 patch?
You got one of those?
Yeah, I've got one I can grab.
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a 3-pack. So
okay, well we can do a 3-pack, and we'll throw in. I
was gonna use my own personal collection there. I just didn't have that one. So.
No, we have a. We can do the patches with that. I have plenty.
Okay.
We can do the patches with that, and we also got a nice all-weather Pioneer AK sticker that we can put in there also.
Nice,
they can put on their back window, right?
Swag pack. All right, and the winner is Brett Badal. Brett Badal. I don't think we asked his. We all know AKs have been exported all over the world. How many nations and agencies adopted the PPS?
Well, we know that, how many?
51 countries.
51 countries adopted P. Okay, so
some form or another.
So yeah, after the World War II, there were armies destroyed, countries drained of resources. Many of them switched from being, like, let's say, monarchies or let's say early onset capitalist countries to so-called socialist camp countries and stuff. All of those armies and militaries had to be created almost from scratch in some cases, and therefore the PPS-43 was easy to manufacture and easy to proliferate through those countries that needed them. One of them was, of course, Poland. The other one was China, who actually then modified their gun, and it was used in their way of capturing the Tibet, as a matter of fact.
Interesting.
So, fighting the monks and stuff with the Kung Fu and PPS-43s. But Michael, if you could
just in Poland after World War II, there was 4 plants making PPS. And I think the total was like over 120,000.
Oh, wow.
Made.
Yeah. So to answer the question, they went everywhere.
Yeah.
Went all over the world. So very good questions, lead heads. Appreciate you doing that. If you didn't win this time or we didn't read your question, we'll get to it next time. But that's how you win on the show. You have to listen to the show, find out what you got to do to participate, and that's how you win.
What about that? Oh, Marco, should I bullpup my PPS-43?
So something has happened to my Instagram, and I was looking for that one. So read that one.
If somebody kind of recognizes his question, it's literally would say like, "Oh, Marco, should I bullpup my PPS-43? And here's my elaborate answer. Hell no! Don't you dare! Don't
do
you
it.
dare!
Because you know how much Marco loves the bullpups.
Hey, Leadheads, Dwight Settle with Seal One. Just here to talk to you and tell you a little bit about our product. Seal One CLP Plus is a bio-based, non-toxic product. It comes in a paste, liquid, aerosol, and pre-saturated bore-specific patches called sealskins. They all do the same thing, just different methods of application. The best way to use our product is to start with a clean firearm. There's two reasons why I say that. First, you start with the Seal One CLP Plus by field stripping your firearm and covering the entire firearm inside and out, bore, barrel, everything with the Seal One CLP Plus. You'll see how easy it spreads around. You'll want to wait about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you come back and you want to wipe it all off. So you see how easy it is to put on and remove. And the second reason we say to use a clean firearm is you'll find that it's not clean. We're going to pull out more carbon that's been left behind with whatever product you've been using before. Okay, it takes about 3 cleanings. So I like to say a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot. Just normal usage before the Seal One CLP Plus has removed whatever product that you were using before and has seasoned the firearm. It's kind of like breaking in a cast iron skillet. And after that first cleaning, you will notice a difference. And with each successive cleaning, you will find that it gets easier and easier to clean. Seal One CLP Plus is a dry lubricant and is designed to work as such. You will find that malfunctions are virtually eliminated when used properly, because the majority of all malfunctions are caused to carbon buildup. And with the Seal One CLP Plus, the carbon does not build up. Seal One CLP Plus is safe on all metals, plastics, composites, polymers, rubber, wood, and leather. Seal One CLP Plus is a one-and-done formulation. No other products are required or needed to clean and lubricate and protect your firearm. That's why we say Seal One and done. Seal One is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for a 25% off discount.
All right, guys, that does it for another episode of the AK Corner. Make sure you guys go and check out Pioneer Arms Corp's website, because they run some smoking deals on their website also that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Hey, let me hit something up on that.
Parts.
Okay, now we have firearms on our website. A lot of people do firearms. They do different companies do, like they call blims and stuff like that. We actually have blims that are on there, and what we do is, there are cosmetic stuff that comes on these firearms, and we actually go in and repair them, resurface them. I mean, even if we need to parkerize them to get them where they're at, we do that. But we have such guidelines and stuff that we work with our distributors on how that the guns are supposed to go to them. There's certain stuff that we notice, because I am kind of anal on getting these stuff out there. So we have blims on our website, which we have repaired as far as scratches or other stuff on it. And they are cheaper from the distributor prices, but they are blim guns. We don't do the we're going to sell them here or anything else. Our distributors have, the guns that our distribution centers and stuff have, Atlantic Firearms, Davison's Classics, all of these companies have our firearms. They have the firearms that are, that we've went through, and we cannot find anything wrong with them. But there are certain blims that we had. A prime example is we have some scratches inside of the receivers that do not operate it does not affect the functions or anything else when these things were machined. And we go in and we re-blue them so that they don't rust. But if you open it up and look inside the receiver, you may see a scratch inside of there that's, if you get the blim, you may see a scratch inside of there that's been repaired, and you can't, tell. You have to kind of look at it at an angle. But we don't sell firearms like that through distribution. So if you're buying your gun through Bob's Gun Shop, or you're buying it through Atlantic Firearms, be sure that that gun there is immaculate. So we don't play the bait and switch. But if you don't mind having a blim gun, with a scratch on it, you could save. I mean, depending on the cell that we have, you could save hundreds. And I literally and I say that you can save $200 on a gun. And if you want a great AK, It's 20-inch. Marty was just out pounding one yesterday at the range
Oh
and
my
love
gosh,
it.
it was amazing.
We have some 20-inch guns that we're doing closeout on under the website. That is a ridiculous price. I mean, it is the cheapest new non-blimmed AK. It's just 20 inches.
You're lucky I didn't buy them all, lead heads.
So that's on our website that you can go there. I'm going to have to try again in a little while.
Is that your British lady?
It's you, man. British lady parked in the
I think that
parking lot.
I think that was Michael's phone.
Oh,
She was talking to us.
She's yelling at us. She's like, it's time to wrap it up.
So, real quick, and I've said it many times over and over again, and not because I like CJ dearly, but Pioneer Arms built in Poland and in the factory where the AKs were built, and they build per blueprints. So you can say it's a variant. It's actual AKM, and it's the closest thing you're going to get to the desired type rifle, like AKM rifle, for example. And so I've been running my AK classes. I've been having multitude of students who came in with variety rifles, and we would always have that guy, the guy that brings in some kind of rifle, and then he has a problem through the class and stuff. So we have to slow down, wait for him. Not once it was a Pioneer Arms gun. So it goes bang every time anybody pulls the trigger. It looks good. It kind of it's a throwback, for example, for those of you who like the purist and would like to have that wooden AK. Yeah, it goes to
go back to the purist though. Most of the AKs are being made are variants. They're not made off a license. We are made off the Kalashnikov. We have, when we bought stuff from Circle 11, I know you guys were saying, oh, you guys aren't Circle 11, you're claiming Radom. Okay, Marty's been to the Circle 11 factory, which is where we make our stuff. We're just not Circle 11, but Marty's been to the factory. So don't call me a liar, call him one. So our guns and stuff are made, they're made there in that factory. And the quality and stuff that we have at them, I mean, we have that license that we make it off of, and we are 1-to-1. We are not something else. People come up on our magazines, and they come up to our magazines and are like, oh, this magazine doesn't fit. And I'm like, okay, well, you're trying to shove a South Korean or a Chinese 56 magazine into an actual Kalashnikov slot.
And sometimes some people go as far as like trying to put a 223 magazine into 7.62 gun.
You know, Marco, but
you guys,
but I think Marty did that yesterday.
You guys are such great engineers.
Marty made it fit. He got that 5.56 magazine to lock into a 7.62 gun yesterday.
I was amazed when I saw that.
It was. I mean, he used the bench, but he got it in there.
I don't have long hair.
And then you know, it's always like a good. I have this great advice. If you if there's a problem of your 223 magazine fitting into a 7.62 gun, just use a hammer. Or use a hammer. When in doubt, use a hammer.
And I did break 3 guns. Yeah, I will admit to that. I did break 3 guns.
And a guy you were assisting broke a gun also, so that you get credit for 4. Plus, you could not.
I got a casualty.
Plus, you could not operate a revolver.
I operated it.
Yeah. Everybody put it.
He was the guy that broke the revolver.
Talk about, they're talking about the 1-to-1. You're getting the closest thing you can get to a Kalashnikov.
We're 1-to-1. We own both documentations, blueprints, and rights to produce. The Russian blueprints, which were, actually given to Plant 11 after World War II, and we own also the Polish blueprints, which were made based on the Russian blueprints. Talking about the magazine well and tight fit, it's cut exactly to the AK blueprints, and it's worth it to mention that original guns had dedicated magazines. So magazines actually were serialized with the serial number of the gun.
Oh.
And they were fit, especially the steel marks. The polymer, which were, I guess, introduced in close to 1970. They started the production of polymer, were also serialized. So that's important to know that original configuration military gun made in Circle 11 had serialized fit, especially dedicated magazines to the gun.
Right. Very good.
So one thing worth noting, like when we were talking about the purist with the wood and all that, so Pioneer Arms also offers polymer furniture, which is practical and stuff, and also the guns are the way that they build will accept a vast number of any accessories, AK accessories now available readily on the commercial market from many manufacturers, from Midwest Industries, Magpul, anything. So it's not like it's a Serbian gun and a Serbian gun where you got to have a separate set of furniture or accessories to fit, or some other gun, a Chinese gun or whatever. But the Pioneer Arms will accept just about any AK accessory, modern accessory that you want to put on.
Right. And if it won't fit our AK, then that means that it's a variant part. Okay. And a lot of people get upset when I say that. When I say you don't own an AK, you own a variant, because ours are made off the license 1-to-1. A lot of other countries that used to be, let's say, inside of Yugoslavia, are variants. They were made off of a copy. They weren't given the license to make that. They did reverse engineer their variants. Yeah, the 56, the Chinese 56 is a variant. It's not an AK.
Gotcha.
One of the heavy guns that are around that everybody likes, and they talk about the best one that's out there, it's a variant.
Yeah. So funny story. I mentioned it several times. So at the time when the Yugoslavians start making their Zastava rifles, Soviet Union and them kind of didn't really get along well, so they didn't afford them the license. So the Zastava guns come from two Albanian border guards that jumped the fence with the guns in tow, and that's how they
reverse engineered.
And the same goes with the China, where back in the 60s, China and Soviet Union kind of pulled apart. There was a lot of border disputes and things like that. And then, so the Soviets, when they came up in 1959 with the AKM design, though they did provide AK-47 design license and technological package and stuff, manufacturing package to Chinese previously, the stamp gun was not ever passed on to Chinese, and Chinese had to
reverse engineer the 56. So everybody talks about these cool guns and how they have an AK, and I just kind of tilt my head.
Another
and I'm like,
fact that you're not going to get anywhere else but on the Talking Lead AK Corner.
Look it up. Don't listen to us.
Presented by Pioneer Arms Corp. Leadheads, I appreciate everyone with their participation in the giveaway. You've got some great suggestions on some upcoming episodes that you'd like us to talk about. We're going to go through those, I assure you. And a lot of those are things that we've been talking about doing anyway. So we will be back next month with the Talking Lead AK Corner. We're going to give you information on the next giveaway, which CJ already told you. It's going to be one of their Grom 7.62. It's going to be a one of a kind. That's going to be in June, but we're going to give you the info in the next episode. But until then, go to their website, pioneerarmsusa.com, and Instagram is at pioneerarmsusa, and follow them there. And go get Marco's book. Go get CJ's book. Go check them out.
NRA booth 11531. We'll have T-shirts. We might be able to coax Marty and Marco to be there. We might be able to set that up. We will have T-shirts. We will have patches. We will be giving firearms away at the show. Come and see us. Come and hop in our
more giveaways.
Come hop in our cool airborne vehicle. Climb around, play on it. Put your kids up there. Get some photographs with it. With a original 1976 PKM-T. That's with the butterflies. that was made in that plant for tanks.
There you go. Leadheads. Until April, get out there, do your research. Let me see the participation on the Instagrams and the emails. Keep them coming in. The suggestions, love them. Marco, thank you so much. Appreciate the trip, man. It was a great trip.
Pleasure.
We got more from the trip probably coming because we got another 9 hours to go back.
I'm trying to figure out the subject matter that we're going to talk about. So I'm sure it's going to be good.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
I think you should talk about that
this time.
I think you should talk about that video that he showed you when he came back in yesterday after lunch.
Michael, thank you so much.
No, please, no.
Appreciate you joining us, Michael. As always, Leadheads love hearing from you and your input. And thanks for visiting.
Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks for visiting your own plant, Michael. Appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah. Thanks for visiting. I was gonna say thanks for visiting America. Coming to America, make it easier for us to talk to you and see you.
Michael's a U.S. citizen.
Oh, you're a U.S. citizen?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he's been that way for years, so it's not recent.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's what we never taught you. CJ.
I am an American citizen also. I wasn't naturalized. I was born here.
Your hospitality these last few days. Thank you so much. We've got a lot of footage from the range day that I still have to go through and put out, so Leadheads be looking for that.
I would like to get
Instagrams.
I would like to get the video of us firing the belt fed from the Xterra as Marco's driving it, and then we have the dismounts out to the side all engaged in the targets. I'd like to see that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of good stuff coming. So Leadheads, you got to be paying attention. You can't take a break. You're going to get behind. You're going to miss out. So we will see you in April. And when's SHOT Show? Or not SHOT Show, but NRA?
NRA is,
May?
I believe it's in May.
Okay, so we'll have another show before then. And
listen up, because they call me Crazy Jay for a reason. You don't know what's going to happen next show.
It's crazy around here. So
you don't know.
Leadheads, we are out.